Updates you will get on this week's Jogja highlights.
This week's point of view will give you a quick overview of Denmark. The iconic K-pop girl group 21 will reunite to embark on a world tour. This marks the group's first official activities since disbanding in 2016.
Hey, what's up? You're watching Jogja Highlights as usual. I'm Mario Bagus, your host. We'll give you updates, and without any further ado, let's begin this week's Jogja Highlights with What's Up Jogja. Kicking off this week's What's Up Jogja, here we give you a great news coming from a para badminton athlete from Kulon Progo, Konita Ikhtiar Syakuroh, who will compete and represent Indonesia at Paralympics 2024 in Paris.
Konita is now currently preparing herself to compete at this year's Paralympics in Paris by undergoing training camp in Solo, Central Java. Konita will compete in the standing lower or SL3 women's singles number, where all para badminton athletes will compete on a half court at Paralympics 2024 Paris next September. She is targeting gold medal at this year's Paralympics. Konita, who has been suffered from congenital Talipes equinovarus or CTEV, started her career in National Paralympic Committee or NPC, entering athletics branch before entering badminton. She then achieved various titles, such as World Champion title at the ASEAN Para Games Solo 2022. She is now ranked at the top of the women's single standing lower or SL3 category based on the BWF Para Badminton website.
She is a living proof that there is no limitation as long as we keep believing in ourselves, keep believing in our power, and keep improving as well as keep working hard to achieve whatever we want to achieve in our lives. So for Konita, go get a gold medal at Paralympics 2024. And now let's go a bit further to Surakarta or Solo, Central Java to visit Monument Pers Nasional to know deeper about Indonesian press history.
Museum is a place for people to look for information related to the things happened in the past. In this digital era, museum shall adapt to the people's necessity in receiving information so that museum still becomes reliable source. And this is what Monument Pers Nasional is currently doing. Since 2020, Monument Pers Nasional, located in Solo, Central Java, has been transforming itself to be a digital museum. Using digital technology, Monument Pers Nasional, whose collections tell a very long history about Indonesian press, provides magazine and newspaper, which now are able to be read digitally. Besides, one new interesting thing is the museum is now preparing itself to be able to be visited online through its official website.
Once it's 100% ready, I think as a journalist I should give a visit to Monument Pers Nasional. And as for you, non-journalist, I think Monument Pers Nasional will be an interesting place to visit on this weekend because you can dig deeper about Indonesian press history. Moving on, let's go to Prambanan Temple, the largest Hindu temple site in Indonesia, as well as the second largest in Southeast Asia.
Located approximately 17 kilometers northeast of the city of Yogyakarta, precisely on the boundary between Central Java and Yogyakarta Spatial Region, Prambanan Temple is designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Architecturally, this largest Hindu temple site in Indonesia and the second largest in Southeast Asia is characterized by its tall and pointed architecture, typical of Hindu architecture, and by the towering 47-meter-high central building inside a large complex of individual temples. Prambanan Temple complex is originally consisted of 240 temple structures, which represented the grandeur of ancient Java's Hindu art and architecture, and is also considered as a masterpiece of the classical period in Indonesia. The 240 temples are 3 main Trimurti temples dedicated to Shiva, Vishnu, and Brahma, 3 Vahana temples dedicated to Nandi, Garuda, and Hamsa, 2 Api temples on the north and south side, 4 Kelir temples, 4 Patok temples, and around 224 Pervara temples. The first building was completed in the mid-9th century, likely started by Rakai Pikatan, and inaugurated by his successor King Lokapala.
Not only does it become a sacred place for Hindus to pray, Prambanan now also becomes one of the most visited tourism destinations in Yogyakarta as well as Central Java. Besides, Prambanan also becomes a home for both international and Indonesian musicians to give a perform at the annual festival called Prambanan Jazz. And now, to wrap this week's What's Up Jogja, let's join our reporter slash student from Mercubuana Yogyakarta University, which is Cecilia, who will give coverage on Culture Fest 2024.
Hello everyone, welcome to Culture Fest 2024. So, I'm Cecilia. Here, I'm in Campus 3 in Mercubuana University. So, what is Culture Fest? Culture Fest is festival organized by Mercubuana Yogyakarta. Here, there will be drama performance, culture exhibition, drama performs, band perform, and of course, PBI awards. So, let's go!
Theme Reunite, Relief, Reignite, Culture Fest 2024 showcase 2 different drama performances and Evening in the Park and Awal dan Mira, which were performances by students of Mercubuana Yogyakarta University. Besides, there were also dance and art performances as well as PBI Award as the appreciation given to all inspiring lectures of PBI of Mercubuana Yogyakarta University. Aside from being a requirement to pass the cross-cultural understanding and pedagogical drama courses for PBS students, the agenda also became the place to develop student skills both in performing in drama or theater and in organizing the drama performance.
Okay, so that's all for Culture Fest. See you next year. I'm Cecil. Goodbye.
And that's all for this week's What's Up Jogja. Stay tuned as an interesting discussion on this week's point of view is coming right after the break. Don't go anywhere. And you're still watching Jogja Highlights, and in this week's point of view we have special edition because we will have a talk with a friend of mine from abroad, especially from Denmark, which is Emil, right?
Yep, exactly.
Okay, so Emil, thank you so much for your willingness to be interviewed with me in this week's point of view. So first thing first, I will ask to you about, is this your first visit to Indonesia, especially in Yogyakarta?
Yes, it is. It's my first time here, actually. First time really in Asia. So
First time really in Asia?
Never really been to the east side of the world. I'm from Europe, so completely new experience for me. So it's great.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I heard about some differences about Europe and also Asia. Could you please elaborate on your first impressions about
Sure.
Indonesia?
Well, fantastic scenery here. The nature is great, definitely a lot different, and I would say that people are in general super welcoming here. They're happy to help us out, and I think that's my first impressions here. That it's easy to get along and easy to talk to people, and people are really nice to be around, I would say. Yeah.
Okay, did you find any differences between your country, Denmark, and here in Indonesia?
Sure. Yeah, there is a lot of differences, I would say. I guess the cities are bigger, so big cities are a lot bigger than big cities where I come from. The traffic, and there's just more people in the cities than what I'm used to, so more impressions to get in. yeah, and you have to take your time to get around, and it's yeah, that can be kind of difficult to arrange in. Yeah.
Well, for me, Indonesia will be a bit too noisy, a bit too, busy for those who come from country with quiet vibes and also quiet situation. What about the Denmark? Is there any differences in terms of the situation, the vibes of the people?
Sure thing. There's definitely a lot more noise. You have to look over your shoulders more. Definitely a lot more people coming on scooters, walking, driving, everything. That's a lot different. So yeah, you have to pay attention to that, I guess. Less people where I come from. So yeah, that's the thing to have in mind as well.
Okay, do you experience any hard times since this is your first time in Indonesia as well as in Asia? Is there any like adjustment or stuff?
Yeah, there's a lot of adjustments, I would say. I mean, language is one thing. You have to, like people here are definitely very educated and you can speak English to them, but also out in the society, you have to try to communicate as best as you can.
With your body language.
Yeah, body language and stuff like that when you're ordering something at restaurants or going out. So yeah, I'm trying to develop that as well. And I'll say also traffic, you guys drive in the opposite direction, so I have to like look the opposite way when I'm crossing the street, and yeah, just in general there is a lot of adjustments to make, but I'm already 1 week in and I feel like it gets easier day by day.
How about the food?
Yeah.
Is there any differences between Denmark and Indonesia? Because in Indonesia we have a lot of spicy food.
Yes, definitely. That's probably one of the biggest differences, I would say. Like the spices here are a completely different level. Very spicy. It can get very spicy. That you have to adjust to, and also we have a lot more dairy and stuff like that in Denmark that food is evolved around, so that is different too. But I really like the food here, starting to get used to it, but also trying to make as safe choices in the start as possible and kind of get my body adjusted to having more spicy stuff. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about Global Summer Week, the agenda that you participate.
Yeah.
Could you elaborate? Could you share the experience of the agenda?
Yeah, sure. Well, I saw this program as a part of my studies at CBS, and I thought it was interesting to try to network with people from this area of the world and coming from other countries in this area as well. Found it interesting to participate in, and overall it's a part of a program where we have to do an internship afterwards in Jakarta. So overall just very interesting to first try to develop some skills on the school bench here, and then try to go on the internship, work full time, and see how the culture is working here as well.
All right, what motivates you to join such event?
I would say just try to collaborate with people from different cultures, see how I can participate and how I can use my skills that I've developed from other parts of the world to try to get a sense of how we can solve some problems and challenges here, I would say.
All right. Now let's talk about your country.
Yeah.
Is there any interesting facts about your country that Indonesian haven't known before?
I would say that, as I mentioned before, the big cities in Denmark, Copenhagen, Aarhus, Odense, they are that's what we call big cities, but they're still the size that you can actually bike from one part of the city to the other. The infrastructure is great for biking, so I would say that's a fun fact, that we consider a big city a city that you can bike all the way throughout. Yeah, I mean, here you can basically just go out in the stuff, the clothes you actually want to wear. Where I come from, you have to like check the forecast every day and see, okay, what am I wearing today? And it doesn't matter if it's summertime. It can be very, the weather can be changing a lot from week to week. So yeah, that's definitely
Okay. For me who haven't been there in Denmark, do you have any recommendation or tourism destination attraction that you will recommend me to go there once I there in Denmark?
Yeah, I would say that the most popular is definitely Copenhagen, a great city, a very diverse amount of people there, great European capital for different people, different businesses, very great, but also other parts of Denmark is great too. We have a lot of coastline, so we have
Coastline,
some nice,
yeah.
we have
That's
some nice
interesting.
beaches, some very relaxed areas that you can go to. Commuting is easy, and I think overall it's a great country and it's very pretty. So yeah.
Should go there.
Yes, I think so. I think so.
What about the food and what about the cuisine? What is the recommendation? What is the best food or cuisine from Denmark?
Yeah, as I said, we have a lot of dairy, stuff like that. Food is evolved around that, but I would also say as a very developed country, we have a lot of food from all over the world. So Copenhagen is like one of the best capitals for food in the whole world, I would think, having visited other big cities in Europe, but it combines a lot of fantastic kitchens all over the world because it's developed and because it's easy to start a business there and investors are there. So there's just a bunch of great food in Copenhagen, I would say, and very diverse and high quality. Yeah.
All right, so I have to save my money, work harder to be able to go to Denmark.
Yeah.
Well, last thing, are you planning to come back to Indonesia or any kinds of part of Indonesia after joining the Global Summer Week?
Yeah, sure. I think I will. As I mentioned, I'll be doing an internship in Jakarta afterwards for 4 or 5 months. And my plan is definitely to try to travel as much as possible while on the internship, but also afterwards to get a sense of other places in Asia. And I've already made a great impression here, so I definitely a place I'll try to go back to.
You should go to Bali.
Yeah, I'll try to go to Bali.
That one place, that one specific place, you should go there.
Yeah.
And experience
I heard.
all of the nice things there.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, that wraps our discussion and our dialogues for this week's Points of View. Emil, thank you so much for
thank you.
your time
course.
to be interviewed with me in this Points of View. So after this, I will go back to you in Jogja Highlights with some updates from showbiz and entertainment. So stay tuned on Jogja Highlights. You're still watching Jogja Highlights, and let's close this week's Jogja Highlights with Showtime. Putri Indonesia 2024 Harasta Haifa Zahra was crowned as Miss Supranational 2024, becoming first Indonesian representative to win the Miss Supranational beauty pageant. Let's take a look.
The 20-year-old who hailed from Bandung, West Java, beat other contestants from 67 countries and territories to receive the crown at the end of the event in Poland on Saturday, July 6, 2024. Harashta represented Indonesia at the latest Miss Supranational Beauty Contest after emerging victorious in the 2024 Putri Indonesia National Beauty Pageant last March. Harashta, who constantly gave her best performance along the quarantine, became the first Indonesian Putri who was crowned as the Miss Supranational Beauty Pageant. Aside from her win at the latest Miss Supranational, her performance, singing Bubui Bulan and dancing Western Java traditional dance, became viral on social media, gained a lot of appreciation from netizens around the world. Miss Supranational Beauty Pageant, along with its male counterpart Mr. Supranational, is organized by the World Beauty Association. Miss Supranational began its first edition in 2009.
First thing first, for you who haven't heard about this beauty contest, I must tell you that Miss Supranational has no relation with any kinds of supernatural stuffs. And secondly, as the reigning queen is from Indonesia, I personally hope that more people will know about Indonesia. Next up, let us give you an update from Afgan, my very personal favorite male singer in Indonesia, who is now currently trying to gain more fans in Asia by holding Sonder Asia Tour.
Afgan started his Sonder Asia Tour at Asa Performing Art Hall, Gangsogu, Seoul, South Korea on June 29, 2024. The special performance was attended by more than 300 fans who gathered to witness Afghan's performance. One of the highlights of the tour was the standout performance by Dita Karang, member of K-pop group Secret Number, performed Afghan's latest hit single, Escape. And not only that, there is also Zayan, K-pop boy group Zodiac member seen at the venue. Afghan also surprised fans with a special cover of Taeyang's famous ballad, Eyes, Nose, Lips. The Sonder Asia Tour 2024 is held to celebrate the launch of Afghan's latest album Sonder, which was released on June. Afghan stated, Sonder is his most personal work by far, involving several well-known songwriters and producers, one of whom was Maestro, the producer of Rihanna's What Now. Continuing the tour, Afghan will greet his fans in several cities and countries in Asia. One of them is Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
It's only a matter of time, for Indonesian actors, as well as Indonesian musicians and singers to be recognized and get spotlight from people across the world. And as for Afghan, he truly deserved it. Now it's time for me to give you highlights on Do Kyung-soo's fan concert titled Bloom.
EXO's Dio or Do Kyung-soo held 3 shows for the Asia Fan Concert Tour Series in Jakarta on July 12 to 13, 2024 at Kota Casablanca Hall, Jakarta. At the fan concert, which lasted for approximately 2 hours, Kyung-soo not only showed his talent in singing, but also his charm through the chit-chat segment with Indra Herlambang as the MC. In this segment, Kyung-soo was asked some of fans' questions, as well as covered various songs, showing his extraordinary skills in singing. In concert segment, Kyung-soo sang his own songs from his latest mini-album Blossom, namely Mars, Simple Joys, Popcorn, Good Night, My Dear, About Time, and several songs from previous mini-albums such as Ordinary Days, That's Okay, I Do, and Somebody.
As an XOL/Dandanis, I'm so satisfied attending the fan concert titled Bloom in Jakarta, as Do Kyung-soo gives us the look, the stage presence, as well as the out-of-the-world type of voice. And now I cannot wait. I'm so excited to attend another fan concert from Do Kyung-soo, or maybe a world tour from EXO. Blackjack, the next update is only for you, as the queen, none other than 21, is making a comeback.
The iconic K-pop girl group 21 will reunite to embark on a 2024-2025 world tour. This marks the group's first official activities since disbanding in 2016, excluding their surprise 2022 Coachella performance. The announcement video revealed 21 will return as a full group and embark on a global tour starting in Seoul, October 2024. The comeback tour coincides with the group's 15th anniversary of their debut this year. Other confirmed cities where 21 will perform are Japan, Osaka in late November 2024 and Tokyo in December 2024. This tour then will continue into 2025. The future concert stops are also expected to be announced in the coming weeks. The K-pop quartet, consisting of leaders CL, Sandra Park, Park Bom, and Minzy, last performed together at Coachella in 2022. The group made a surprise performance of I Am the Best during CL's performance slot during the 88th Rising Head in the Clouds Forever set. Besides I'm the Best, 21 also spawned hits like Lonely, Fire, I Love You, and Come Back Home in 2014.
I screamed out once I heard about their comeback. Now let's patiently wait for their tour in Indonesia, and let's work harder than before to save the money to witness their comeback in Indonesia. bringing you a Korean disaster movie. For the first movie recommendation, here is Pandora. 2016 movie stars Kim Nam-gil.
Pandora depicts a story about Jae-hyuk, played by Kim Nam-gil, who lives with his mother, his sister-in-law, and his nephew in a small Korean town. He is dating Yeon-ju, played by Kim Joo-hyun, while working at the local nuclear power plant. The conflict starts when an earthquake strikes the small town where Jae-hyuk lives, causing explosions at the nuclear power plant. The situation quickly spirals out of control, leading the entire nation to panic. The plot continues with Jae-hyuk and his co-workers return the nuclear power plant to prevent another nuclear disaster.
I know that this is a disaster movie, but there is a particular sad scene at the end of this movie that I assume will make you cry. And plot-wise, I think it's so acceptable. It gives us the journey to give an empathy to the main character. Other than that, I think you should watch the movie. And this is the end of this week's Jogja Highlights. Thank you so much for watching this episode. It's time for me, Aryo Bagus, and all the crew behind the camera to say thank you so much for watching. See you next episode. Bye.